Hey Chaotic Crew, Brian here. We've got another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle deck tech here. This time we're going for the alternate commanders of the Turtle Power Precon. Going to be pretty fun. You've probably seen the thumbnail, know who it is, but before we get right into it, I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Manapool. It's a fast-growing marketplace for Magic the Gathering that makes buying and selling cards easy. Their optimizer helps you get the best value in buying cards, and the team is focused on making it a great experience for buyers and sellers alike. Really enjoyed my time using Manapool, so make sure to check our affiliate link in the description below. And also, if you're watching this the day it's uploaded, we are giving away a Turtle Power Precon on our Twitch stream, twitch.tv/chaoticcommandermtg. Watch our original precon upgrade guide to figure out how to enter that. But yeah, let's dive in. We've got Leonardo the Balance as one of the commanders here. This is a partner commander deck. He has 4 mana, 3/3. Whenever a token you control enters, you may put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control once each turn. So really cool there. And you can pay Wooburg to give creatures you control Menace, Trample, and Lifelink until end of turn. There are a lot of different partners you can go with Leonardo, but I really love Michelangelo the Heart. Michelangelo is someone you can put down early game and can start giving you tokens early, right? He's a 2/1 with Trample for 2 mana. At the beginning of your second main phase, if you attacked this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and create a food token. So he also cares about counters, which is great, and he also makes tokens. So love that. It works really well with your commander, and it's just a good card to have a bunch of counters on as a commander, right? It can get really, really big really quickly in this deck. So the idea is we're making lots of tokens. Usually it's going to be food. I have a lot of the mutagen cards in here. Mutagens give +1/+1 counters as well, so those are kind of the 2 main token types we're focusing on, but you might see a couple others here and there, and counters. So those are the 2 themes of the deck here. Obviously you see Kaido Shizuki as a planeswalker. With Michelangelo we are attacking a lot, so Kaido Shizuki is great because it's going to allow us to draw cards. We don't really care about his ultimate, but drawing cards and maybe creating a token himself, at the very least 3 mana to put a +1/+1 counter on each of your creatures isn't the worst. So yeah, not bad in the deck as well. 25 creatures here. We are running Academy Manufactor. Because one of our commanders makes foods, Academy Manufactor becomes that much more invaluable. If we were running one of the other partner commanders like Donatello or April O'Neil, actually April would also be running Academy Manufactor. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, Academy Manufactor, just a really fantastic card. It kind of gets out of control if you're making a lot of these kind of tokens. Okay, April O'Neil Human Element is a really cool card here. 4 mana for a 2/5 Human Detective. And whenever a player casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, you create a mutagen token. So that is, you're making lots of those per turn. And what's really great about this card is that your opponents are going to be casting these cards not just on your turns, but on their turns as well. And so with your commander, if you have your commander and April O'Neil out, as soon as they cast any kind of spells, you make a token, you get a counter on your creatures. Because once each turn can happen 4 times in a turn cycle, right? If you have 3 opponents, so really, really strong card here in the deck. April O'Neil live on the scene, also fantastic. Just 2 mana for a 2/1, and it has whenever a mutant, ninja, or turtle you control enters, you investigate. So you make a clue. This also has partner character select. I think this is the 2nd strongest commander with Leo. It is really, really strong. You're constantly getting these clue tokens and then buffing up your whole team because of it, so just really good card there. We are running Birds and the Land Halfling, as well as Gilded Goose. Gilded Goose is a great, 1-drop mana dork here because it can also make tokens. It can make foods after it's, paid for itself 1 turn. It can make a food and then do whatever, but also it sacrifices the foods that Michelangelo makes. So you never feel like you are, it feels like an actual 1-drop Birds of Paradise, like an additional Birds of Paradise, so really good there. We're running Donatello the Brains, which is really cool. Pretty much anything that cares about mutagen I wanted to add in here to make it a bit more unique, right? Mutagen is a unique mechanic to the Ninja Turtle set, and Donatello just has that generic ability that if you're making, tokens, you make those mini tokens plus a mutagen token. Not crazy, but those can definitely add up. Genghis Frog is great here. It's a frog mutant rogue. Whenever Genghis Frog or another mutant you control enters, you make a mutagen token, and it has a 1/3 with trample, so really great to have the counters on here. Plus, everything in here that's a turtle is also a mutant, right? The only non-mutants are the Manadorks and the April O'Neils, and a couple other non-TMNT spells, but everything else is mutants. We have a lot of them in the deck, so really good. We talked about Gilded Goose, but Jaheira, Friend of the Forest, is fantastic. Going to make all of our tokens add green. This deck is 5 colors, but it is, almost 50% green. So being able to tap our tokens for mana, really, really strong here. Kami Whispered Hopes is another mana dork that essentially adds an additional counter whenever we put counters on any permanent. So really great there, and it works fantastically with our commander. And not too broken, because you can only add X mana of any one color, and your commander really cares about adding Wooburg. But I thought that was a fair add, but also very synergistic as well. Lita, Little Orphan Amphibian, is awesome because when creatures enter, you can make foods, you can give it counters, and you can even scry, which is always helpful. Scrying is very much, because it's such a versatile keyword, people don't rate it that high, but it is a really strong keyword to have in a pinch, and I like it a lot. Lotho, Corrupt Sheriff, is fantastic to get us treasure tokens on not just our turns, but also our opponent's turns. Remember, Leo cares about every turn, right? So good there, and can just help us ramp, so really strong. Michelangelo, Mutant BFF, when it enters or attacks, makes a mutagen token, and then each creature you control with a counter can't be blocked by more than one creature, so your opponents can't double block them or whatever, so that's really nice there. If you ever get a creature with Menace, it's also good to have that on there, but he's really more in here because he's making those mutagen tokens. Michelangelo Weirdness to 11 makes a mutagen on entering. He also gives you an additional +1/+1 counter on each card that you get +1/+1 counter. So really strong here. Mona Lisa, Ever Adaptable, has a 4 mana 4/4. Whenever a player casts a creature spell, you create a mutagen token. So another great way to get tokens on your opponent's turns, which is really fantastic there. Now mutagens, it must be added. You can. Yeah, I probably should have explained this earlier in the video, but you pay 1, you tap it, you sacrifice them. So it's like a blood token kind of in that cost, but instead of discarding a card and drawing a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. The issue is you can do blood tokens anytime. You can sacrifice treasure tokens anytime. You can sacrifice clue tokens anytime. So I guess it's more like a map token, because you can only do map tokens as like a sorcery, and the same is true for mutagen tokens. Mutagen tokens you can only do as a sorcery, so something to keep in mind there. Still a really strong card. The other Mona Lisa, Science Geek, is another mana dork, right? And it adds X mana of any one color, where X is Mona Lisa's power, and it's a mutant, so we love that. Mutagen Man, Living Ooze, is really great in this deck because essentially it's going to make all of our artifact tokens cost 1 less to activate. So all of our mutagen tokens are going to cost 0 to sacrifice. All of our clues will only cost 1, and anything else that we may have in here will cost 1 less. Professional Facebreaker just gets us some treasures on combat damage, so pretty nice there, and a good way to ramp us. Raphael the Muscle is a good card as well. It doubles all the damage that creatures we control with counters on them would deal, and Raphael creates a mutagen token on entering, so really nice there. Ray Fillet, Man Ray, is a 3/3 for 4 flyer, and he creates a mutagen token on entering, but you can also pay 2, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control to draw a card, so he's good card draw in the deck. And also, other Ray Fillet, Wave Warrior, is a 0/2 flyer with Evolve, so it's going to give itself a lot of +1/+1 counters, and then whenever a creature you control with a counter on it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So you can actually draw potentially 3 cards a turn with Ray Fillet Wave Warrior, whereas Man Ray, you have to pay mana, but both are still pretty solid in the deck. Ray is making a token on entering, whereas Ray Fillet just really cares about the counters. Next is Shredder Shadow Master. I kept this from the precon pretty much whenever he attacks a player, you're making 2 tokens, excuse me. It's similar to Myriad. And so if you have no other way to make tokens, this isn't terrible, right? You'd rather have this in a haste shell. You really don't care much about the second ability. I wanted another black card in here. Shredder was a really good pick because he makes tokens. He's a ninja. Not bad to have. Super Shredder is also fantastic. Whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Super Shredder, right? Forget everything that your opponents are doing, right? We are putting in on a battlefield a bunch of mutagen tokens, a bunch of food tokens. We're going to be sacrificing those a lot, and those are going to make Super Shredder really powerful. Now, keep in mind everything else that your opponents are doing. They're sacking lands, they're sacking treasures, they're doing whatever. Super Shredder is going to get massive. Really strong card here. The Cabbage Merchant is fantastic, and obviously another great way to make food tokens on your opponent's turn. And also does that because we get a food token whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell. But on the flip side, whenever a creature deals combat damage to us, we sacrifice a food token. However, he can also tap 2 untapped foods we control to add a man of any color, so works really well with Michelangelo in the commander slot. Then last but not least, we do have Tireless Provisioner, who can make foods or treasures on lands entering. Likely going to be treasures, but just really strong in the deck. Sorceries, we've got mostly ramp here. Cultivate, Farseek, Kodama's Reach, Nature's Lore, Shared Roots, Rampant Growth, 3 visits. We've also got Mutant Chain Reaction, destroys an artifact or enchantment, or creature with flying, and you make a mutagen token. Good to have in the deck that cares about that. Lich Knight's Conquest, to sort of sacrifice a bunch of our artifact tokens, and return those creatures from the graveyard to the battlefield. Right there. And then we're running Raise the Palisade, to either return all non-mutants, or maybe all non-ninjas to, opponent's hands, and then Wave Goodbye is not as strong because there are going to be lots of opponents' creatures with +1/+1 counters on them too, but we'll get rid of most of the board that isn't ours. Alright, and then instance, we're running 3 counters. Of course, my go-to 3, An Offer You Can't Refuse, Arcane Denial, Negate. We're also running Beast Within, Chaos Warp, Assassin's Trophy, Generous Gift, and then running Inspiring Call and Ripples of Potential for our protection. You could run Teferi's Protection too. I'm trying to be a bit more fair with that. I don't love using too many game changers nowadays, but strong cards. 7 artifacts, right? Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone. Those are good ways of ramp that can get us potentially 1 of each color. Coin of Mastery is great because you can use it to create treasure tokens, and that is important, right? Our commander cares about making tokens on not just our turn, but opponent's turns. Coin of Mastery can do that, so really good. Isle of Oblivion draws us cards. Nuka Cold Vending Machine makes foods, which then turn into treasures, so really good there. The Ooze is like the Ozolith, but different. Instead of putting all the +1/+1 counters on the Ozolith, you create a mutagen token for each +1/+1 counter on it. And then you can exile a target card from a graveyard to create a mutant token. So this works really well with the deck, but also is good graveyard hate, right? And works with the Ozolith. You can have both of these on the battlefield and get so much value off of them. It's really strong there. And then we're running 9 enchantments. That's right, 9 enchantments. There's a lot. Black Market Connections, fantastic too. Make treasure tokens, draws cards. We could make a changeling if we wanted to, but typically we're not going to be doing that. Caretaker's Talent draws us cards. Endless Foot Assault gives us 3 ninja tokens a turn. Hollow Merc Siege is great. Essentially, we're going to be drawing a card with this, right? Whenever a counter is put in a creature we control, or we can give creatures menace if we want to, if that's really more of what we need. But most of the time, we're going to choose Sultai here. Invigorating Hot Spring and Rhythm of the Wild to give our creatures haste. That's really important, right? Knight of the Wild is great to make sure our creatures can't be countered as well. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge to, again, make our food to be able to tap for mana, and then also be able to buff up our whole board. That'd be a really strong card here in the deck. Ninja Pizza is fantastic. Can sacrifice food for, essentially treat them as treasures, and then you make a food each of your turns, so really strong. Party Dude's also fantastic because the level 2 here will overperform for you. First off, the level 1 makes each player create a food token, you and each opponent. The level 2 has whenever an artifact an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card. That's any artifact. That's the foods that you gave them, but that's also any mana rocks, any creatures, anything like that. You draw a card. Very strong. This card will overperform. And then level 3, you use it to like finish off somebody, but you don't really need it at the moment. But really strong card here. And then 36 lands, nothing crazy. I added the pizza lands obviously because it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle deck that cares about food. So why are we not doing pizza lands, right? We've got all of the Battle Bond lands, and then we've got all the forest triomes. So yeah, really, really strong there. And let's go for a playtest. Okay, one lander, not gonna work. 36 lands is a good amount, so we shouldn't be, okay, we are missing some colors, but we have black and white and Lotho, so I think we're good to keep this. So we'll draw a Cadmium Manufactor, which is really solid. We do get the Zagoth Triome, which I do love. We'll play Lotho. I don't think we'll get a treasure this turn. Ooh, but Turtle Lair is really good. I'm honestly, you could probably replace Turtle Lair with Cavern of Souls because you can't cast any of your mutants with Turtle Lair, but you can't cast your commanders with it, right? We could cast our commander, or Cadmium Manufactor might be good too to cast. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I love playing Zagoth Triome as well. Triome. I don't know, lots of things you could do here. Let's go with the Turtle Lair. No, because the Cadmium Manufactor doesn't just gives us food and whatever. We can play the Triome. And then nothing we can really do with that, so we'll say we'll get one treasure from our opponents on this next turn. Next turn. Okay, then we get Spectator Seeding, which is nice. So now we have 5 mana to work with, essentially. What I would do is I would probably play this for 3, then play Spectator Seeding, make another treasure, and then maybe pay 3 for Ray Fillet, Wave Warrior, get another treasure, right? And yeah, the next turn we can play Leonardo. And potentially, yeah, Leonardo and get another treasure and a food, buff all our stuff, have Ray attack in, draw a card, and then we're doing great. So I love that. So strong hand there. Again, I have lots of lands in here. Should be able to. There you go. We'll keep this hand. Let's draw for turn, and let's play Rejuvenating Springs, Gilded Goose. Add the food to the battlefield. And then we go to the next turn. Okay. And I say we play the Undergrowth Stadium. And we do the Shared Roots. New library. We're definitely going to go with a white, so plains, because we can tap for everything but white right now. Okay, and that's probably our turn. We don't want to spin this food yet, so we'll just go the next turn, turn 3. We'll play Zeotor's Proving Ground tapped, and then I think we play Michelangelo, and then we also, now we sack the token. Maybe we could have played Michelangelo last turn. Yeah, actually that might have been the play, because he makes foods for Gilded Goose. So actually, if we go back a bit, last turn, right, we did the... Oh no, but that came in tapped, so we couldn't have done that. Anyways. Oh well. Michelangelo this turn. And I think we Gilded Goose for the Rampant Growth. turn, we can get our commander out, which is not bad. Boom. And say 1, 2, 3, 4. You go ahead and swing with Gilded Goose, right? People probably have blockers for Michelangelo. Someone might not have a flyer for Gilded Goose. Instead, get us a food, excuse me. Put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, and get +1/+1 counters on all of my creatures. And then Ray is there to help us draw some cards, right? We'll make a mutagen token, put the counters on our stuff next turn. Jaheira will be great too, to be able to make it so that our stuff will tap for mana. Maybe we can hold up some mana for Beast Within, or use that mana to draw cards with Man Ray. Honestly, we've got some really strong options here now that we're in turn 4. Let's do one more game. Okay, yeah, we'll keep this. We have land, pass. Okay, yeah. Can't do anything with Hollow Merc CG yet. Unfortunately, all of the cards in our hands that we can cast are 3-drops. So turn, okay, there we get an island, and we definitely are playing Mona Lisa for the ramp. Ooh, last turn, I'm stupid. We could have played Michelangelo last turn, so we would have done that. And then turn 3, we're playing Mona Lisa. If you can attack with somebody, Michelangelo's great. Not everyone's going to have a 2 or 3 drop. Depends on where you are in the turn rotation. Maybe you're able to get an attack off, maybe not. I'm going to not be in Magical Christmas Land. I'm going to pretend like we didn't get an attack off last turn. So, or that we can't get an attack off this turn. So we'll just go to our next one, play the Plains. We could cast our commander. And that wouldn't be bad. We could also play Ninja Pizza and hold up. But I don't mind. I think commander's fine. And then if you can attack somebody with Michelangelo, great. Because then you can start buffing up Mona Lisa, getting another thing here, and then having some counters for that is really strong. Yeah, I mean, we've got some pretty decent ways to get strong here. Hollow Merc Siege can draw us an extra card each turn, which is really great. Again, this is once each turn, so with this plus Mona Lisa ever adaptable, we could potentially be drawing a card on each opponent's turn as well. So, yeah, really strong deck here. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this the day it's uploaded, please make sure to check out our Twitch stream later tonight, 9:30 p.m. Central Time, twitch.tv/chaoticcommander MTG. You know, we are doing a giveaway for the Turtle Power Precon, so I hope you enjoyed this alternate commander tech. Let me know what you put in, what we would take out. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you love the content, and become a channel member for an extra entry into that giveaway. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back next week. Bye.